And welcome to Friday Football Focus, and this evening the spotlight is on Pulrose. We're delighted to be joined by the defensive duo Owen, Quayle and Stuart Morris, the goalkeeper for Pulrose. First of all, gents, not the greatest of outings last time, a 2-1 defeat to Mepham, but that was your first defeat in 7. Things are going pretty well for you in the league this year.
Yeah, they are. We're playing well every week. There's a challenge because we just feel like clubs are putting their effort in against us as being top of the league most of the season so far, and then it's hard. This is the hardest season I've been in, but that's because we're top, like, you know what I mean?
Pressure.
Well, there are a number of teams around you with similar points tallies. You've got the games in hand on the 2 teams above you. That is, I take it, the goal then to win the league this year?
It is now. We always.
So it wasn't at the start
not really,
of the year?
No, because we don't want to sound big.
Sorry to interrupt, Stu. Go back to the start of this year, because you had a real struggle, didn't you? Because there was 1 or 2 meetings going on, and it was a bit touchy at times, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. The chairman, Kev Cowan, stepped down at the start of the season, which is fair enough. Edna stepped down at the start of the season, the AGM.
Yep.
Yeah. And we were struggling. No one wanted to step up and be the chairman, and everyone was asking me, and I was like, well, if I want to play, so it was a bit too much. So luckily enough, Kev, he come back, and then I come back, and we steadied the ship again in the end, like, and it was, don't get me wrong, it was tough at the start of the season, like, but we steadied the ship again with everyone coming back.
21 goals conceded in the league this year. That's quite a good record considering 14 played. Owen, how much is that down to your goalkeeper? And Stewie, how much is that down to your organised defence?
Yeah, Stewie does keep us in a lot of games, and it's probably likewise for us as well.
Yeah, definitely. The back four are class. Jacob, Owen, Kenny and James McGinn. The average age, 20? I think they're all like 20, 21, yeah. 19, 18.
Well, Kenny 22, me 20, James and Jacob both 18, 19. So
but they're class. They're good lads. They know how to battle and they know how to play. They're not scared of a challenge, and nothing hesitates them in a way. And then they've got me at the back, the old guard who's 35 now, looking to keep them steady a bit. So it works. We work really well together.
Well, it's the arrogance of youth that can obviously be so effective, I think, at times. But you need a balance. You need to have experience as well. A blend of experience and youth can often be the formula to success.
Definitely. You look at the span. If you want to go down the whole team, you've got the age of, you've got Steve Glover at the front, Craig Cowan in the middle, and then the only problem is we haven't got the older mature guy at the back four. But then you've got me. So we are missing that one age, if you want to call it a spine. But the lads are coming together and working well through front, middle and back, like, and then there's me. So I love it. I love playing with the boys at the class. They're really good to watch.
And how do you rate this group of players compared with other teams that you've had in the past?
Who I've played with, or
who you played with? Yeah.
Like I said on another thing I've done a couple of months ago, the best team prior to this year was the likes of Greg Wood and Jay Wood and Jackie Tier, and that was a class team. I was going to say boss then, but a class team then. But I don't know, this team is really good. The lads, they were young and we've got years. Keep us together, and we're gonna do well easily.
It's definitely the best Pulrose team I've ever played in. I've only been there about 4 or 5 years, but we've sort of struggled and been round mid-table every other season. So
what's helped Owen is Steve Priestnell and Mark Priestnell, hasn't it? Bags of experience for the pair of them. Steve's played for the Ireland team. Mark, what a coup that was to get his, and even David Priestnell watches up at Onken. You've got a good football inside there.
Yeah, we've always had a decent enough team, but there always just seemed to be something missing on stupid goals conceded and stuff. But we seem to have cut that out this season, and then obviously with the quality up front as well, all seems to be working.
Is it sometimes hard to sell the Pulrose project, if you like, to other footballers on the island, if you're trying to get them to sign or keep hold of players? Is that sometimes proving quite difficult?
Possibly, because it might, from the outside, it might not look like the greatest club to play for with the clubhouse, but we are trying to sort things like that out, and it's definitely on the up.
Yeah, big time. We got we signed Markey near enough. What? Halfway through the first half of the season,
5, 6
so
games in,
we didn't have him, and we were top. You know what I mean? And he's come along and he helped us even more. Steve Glover's knocking them in, and what a player Steve is to watch. You look at him, and wow, and you just smile when you're playing because of the type of lad he is. But it's as much as going to lads outside the club and asking them to come along. We're not that type of club. If they want to play for us, then come and play for us. We don't go and beg people to play for us. We're not that type of club. Just if you want to play for us, then come along and give it a go. But we won't beg you.
Now things are going well. Played 14, 33 points. If you win your games in hand, you will be top. Is it difficult to stay grounded, or do you get carried away at times?
No, I wouldn't say so. We're just going, taking it week by week, and just trying to win every game we can.
And what for you, when you said you had a shaky start, there were uncertain times at the start of the season for Pulrose. When did it click, do you think? When did you find, Stewie, that things were going well and you thought, we've actually got something quite good going on here?
The second game of the season, we won. The first game of the season was a bit of a shambles against Rycob. We were very confident, and I think getting beat the way we did give us a bit of a kick up the backside sort of thing, because we weren't ready. We thought we were, but we weren't, and then we got beat 4-0, and then we said to ourselves, that's not happening again, and it hasn't. We haven't been beaten no more than, we lost 1-0 against Mepham the first, and then we got beat 2-1 against them, and then
bit of a bogey team.
That was it. The highest we've been beat is 4-0.
And the next game, you must have sorted something out because you went out and won 5-0 yourself. So what did you change after that first game? What was so wrong at the start of the season which needed addressing, which you did indeed address and gone on a fantastic run of results?
We turned up to the Rycob game 20 minutes before the game, basically, and we weren't ready, we weren't warmed up. And we said to ourselves, now, knuckle down and turn up on time. And everyone turned up on time. We trained, we warmed up properly. And we were ready, and we went into that second game on fire, and we've not looked back since, really.
Who do you see as your biggest rivals, your biggest threat to the title this season?
I don't know, it's hard to say because so many different teams have got games in hand. I know Foxdale have only played 11, we've played 14. It's difficult to say, but probably Castletown, I would say, because I think they're top at the moment, so...
Does it keep it interesting, the fact that there are some teams who've only played, 3 fewer games than you, for instance, that if they do go on a run of wins, they could be right up there in the mix as well?
Yeah, going back to the question on who do you think, I think there's a potential of 4 or 5 teams there who could possibly get top 2, first place or top 4. I think this is the hardest season the second division has probably had regarding more teams. Normally it's one team. The last 4 years have been romping it. Brad and
Douglas,
Daft Kerr, and they've been steamrolling ahead. But this year, you lose a game and you can find yourself back to 4th place, which we are at the moment. But we could win a game and you could be top. So it's so hard. This season is the hardest for me.
And Tony, you've been watching Manx football since 403 BC. So, what makes a team strong in JCK Limited Division 2? What's enough to get them out of there and give them a good footing, really, for life in the Premier League?
I think what Pulrose have got this year is 1 or 2 key players. Mark Priestnell, St Mary's player, probably one of the most talented players that played for St Mary's over the last 4 or 5 years. Steve Glover is a phenomenal goal scorer, but for whatever reason Mark's left St Mary's because he's left his brother behind, so maybe it was he can't commit to training and stuff like that because the leagues are different as in commitment wise, but Stevie's I think it was absolutely fantastic bit of work by Paul Guyver, and you can't sort of down what he has achieved at that club as well, because he's kept it all together. He keeps the training sharp, and I know at the start of the season, whether Paul was feeling a little bit frustrated because the players weren't sort of committing, but he's got it all together, and the training sessions usually on a Tuesday night, they're well numbered, And when you think this is a club that this year haven't been able to field a combination side on 3 occasions, so the numbers are tight to be able to keep things going. And I think it's incredible. But going back to Paul, what a marvellous job Stewie's done. I know, and he's done a great job, hasn't he?
No, he has. He's been a manager now for 3 years. Something
Yeah, 3-4 years.
And he knows the crack. Like, he knows what football's about. And he wasn't the greater players when he played, and he'll tell you that himself. But as a manager, the things he pulls out the bag at half time or before the game or even in training or after the game, you're like, I didn't see that. Oh, he's right. But he's ace, Paul. We all love him. We all love him as a lad. He's a funny lad, even though he's a mank. But we let him off, and he keeps going on about being top of the league. So hopefully Pully can be at top of the league at the end of the season, and he'll have a great season of football with City winning, and hopefully Pully.
They're not going to win. They're playing Arsenal. It's not going to happen.
No, is that right? Is that the case?
I'll keep very quiet. Talking of iffy pitches, Tony, Chesmondo has been in touch.
Yeah.
James Cherry says Onken's combi match has been moved to Springfield Road. So Onken versus Moran, that'll now be at Springfield Road. Thank you, Chesmondo, for your text. What type of a manager is he like? Is he an arm round your shoulder type, or is he the hairdryer treatment at half time?
I think he can do both though, can't he? If he has to give the hairdryer treatment, he can. But usually it's more arm around your shoulder, trying to get you going, sort of thing.
He knows what to say, doesn't he? He's good at man to man. If you're having a bad time, he's good at asking what's wrong, and he's good at listening. He's very good at listening to what your problem is, or if there's a problem. But I love him. He's absolutely top lad.
A glowing endorsement there then. Let's talk about leaders on the pitch. It's not often that you've found yourself behind, I don't think, this season, but when you do go a goal down, which players set the example? Which players are the leaders in the team? Not necessarily captain, but who just set the example for the rest of the players to follow suit?
Craig?
Well, yeah, it's got to be Craig. He is the captain, but yeah, Craig on the pitch is usually the person that people look to if something's not going right, or probably Stewie.
There's a chance. I'd say, to be honest, I think it goes through the whole team. You probably find, like last season, this season before, if we'd go behind, the whole team would argue, and we'd be the worst team for it, arguing with each other and all that. This year, we go behind, but we think we know, or as well as thinking, that we're going to score one more than you, no matter what. You score the goal, we're going to score 2. Doesn't matter. So we're not scared and we're not bothered because we know we're going to score. So for me, I think the whole team, it works for the whole team. We don't get on each other's back if there's a mistake, and yet we just carry on. We go again. Steve Glover's the one. He's giving it the old clap and lark and come on, get your heads up. And Tash, yeah, I think a lot of us we all come as a group when we concede, and we carry on as a group, and we go forward as a group from conceding a goal. So,
and I suppose with all anybody who's played in a team sport, in a team game, there are times when you get out onto the pitch, the whistle blows, the play starts, and within the first few minutes you think, this isn't going to be our day. But I suppose you've got confidence in the fact that you do score a lot of goals, and if you provide the chances, even if it's a half a chance, there's a chance you'll come away with at least a point.
Yeah, we do know we do feel as a team we are going to score, not just from Steve or Mark, or like Craig scored 6, 8, 7, something like
7 or 8, yeah.
But Barry English, he easily scored. There's goals in him.
Been a bit quieter this year, Barry, in front of goal, hasn't he?
I think it's more of his position.
He's been playing a bit deeper this year, hasn't he? Because obviously we've got the likes of Steve and Marky up there now, so.
We're just waving at the Beavers having a tour around Manx Radio as Owen and Stewie looking round in shock. Now, we're with the Pulrose players Owen Quayle and Stewie Morris here on Friday Football Focus. Tony, I asked the pair before who they think their main rivals for the title are. They said Castletown, who sit top on 36 points. Is that something that you share? Do you think? I mean, Onken are going very, very well themselves. A couple of defeats either way for any of the teams at the top, and it puts a real different slant on this title race.
Well, when you look at the start of the season, and Stewie and Owen will remember it, I think after 4 or 5 games we were saying, well, this is all over, Ramsey, you said they're going to walk this, and then suddenly it all sort of went wrong for them. I watched the game against Foxdale, and Foxdale are a good side, but Jay Chatwood was scoring for fun, and then Jay got injured, and Jay was missing, and then it went a bit quiet. And this is a horrible time now for Foxdale. I know someone said to me in the week, he said, it's great playing for Foxdale because you know from November to February you're not going to play. And that's no good for any team if you're challenging to try and win the league. And, OK, we're going into the Cup now, but you look at Castletown, they had a sticky start. I watched the game against Maloo and I thought, I'm not too sure on this, but Gary Sansby's turned it round and they've got some really good players in there. But Moran are much improved over the last, 3 or 4 games. You've got to look at Onken because Onken give Pulrose a real tough game up at the stadium. They're another young team. And I think it's really nice that you look at the Premier League and Division 2 at the moment and it's wide open. There's, Premier League, your 4 or 5 clubs, and Division 2 had a couple more to what Stu said. I think there's 6 or 7 that can play a part in taking the league away from someone or actually winning it.
It's an intriguing setup, intriguing table at the moment, and as I say, Pulrose in 3rd place on 33. Above them, Onken, 16 games played, 35 points, and Castletown sit top, 36 points, 15 played. But the league doesn't matter tomorrow, it's all about the Cup. Woods Cup action, you're away at Maloo. How important is a Cup run to you as a group of players?
Yeah, I think it's very important. I think we come close last year. We got to the semi-final. Played against Braddon, who were the standout team last year. We went 1-0 up and then we went down to 10 men. And then we sort of fell apart after that. And even the games after that, I think we were still in with a chance of getting into the Paul Henry. But that game seemed to have an effect on us. And then I think we lost against Onken. And then that was sort of the end of our top 4 hopes as well.
Do you find that there are cup hangovers, if you like, if you take a beating in the cup, that you take that into the next league game, or is it gone from the memory as soon as the final whistle goes?
I don't know. It sort of depends. It depends how you lose. If you go out on the day and you get beat fair and square, then it's fair enough. But if you come out of that game thinking, oh, we should have won that or something like that, I think it just depends on how you lose.
Just looking at next week's cup game, Paul Guyver wanted a big team from the Premier League. Yeah. He's got it in St John's. What do you reckon?
On our pitch.
Yep. What do you reckon?
I think could be another upset like Peel there. There's small pitch. We played them. I think it was last year, year before.
I think it was year before.
Was it
I was
FA
away.
FA Cup, I think it was again. We had them on our pitch and they battered us 5-1, 5-0, something like that.
4-1.
4-1. Yeah. They're a great team. We've got Ireland players in there and that, but the way we're feeling and the confidence we have, I think it's going to be a top game.
It's going to be a good gauge for you though, isn't it? Oh, see where you are, because I think now the Premier League is so tough. You've got your top 6 teams and then the rest chip away, and even those sides are proven to be quite strong against the Division 2 sides.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously I don't keep an eye on the Premiership much, but it's going to be a real good test for us to see where we are and where we need to go if we do get promoted, and how we need to train. So this year we're training well. We're training twice a week. We're training hard, and as much as you've got to train like this, the team spirit can drag you through a lot of games, and I think that could drag us through a lot of games if we get promoted for the Premiership next season. But we've just got to keep working hard and bring on St John's next week.
It's interesting to hear you say you don't keep track of the Premier League. Are there no clubs who you take inspiration from, having got promotion to the top flight and stuck around? Douglas Athletic being one of those, got promotion a few seasons ago, and they seem to be not out of their depth in the Premier League.
You just suppose, I just don't look at them and think, well, I look at them and go, fair play to them. A lot of teams, I've been told already, will go up, but will come straight back down. And you just can't think, as a club and as a player, I don't think of next season. I like to keep the lads focus on now. We focus on next week, we focus on tomorrow, and then we focus on next week. We don't focus on going up and staying up now, because we're not up there yet.
Yeah, nothing's done and dusted, is it?
Yeah, well, if we start looking ahead, we're going to lose track of where we are and what we need to do. So tomorrow comes, we deal with tomorrow. get that out of the way, and then we focus on next Saturday, and we focus on the Saturday after that, or the 10 Saturdays after that, whenever it's played because of the weather. But or the Wednesday, we work on now, and that's it.
Things are looking quite rosy for Pulrose at the moment. What represents a bad season for you? What will you say come the end of the season, whenever that will be? Could be in 3 years' time if the weather plays havoc. But when you look back at the season, what's the minimum you expect to achieve?
It's got to be top 4 now. The position that we've put ourselves in, we haven't really been in this position the past few years. So I think if we got top 4, that's another trophy to play for then at the end of the season, and hopefully a good run in the Woods Cup as well, and maybe even beat St John's as well.
At the minute, the worst season we'd have is out the top 4. That would be our word. That would be a fail. I think out the top 4 and finishing, at 5th, 5th, 6th, whatever. But we worked out, I know we not like to work forward, but 45 points sort of guarantees you top 4, give and take. So maybe that's our aim, that's our next goal. We work on the 45 points and just to make sure we're there, and then we see what happens after that sort of thing. So we've set ourselves goals for the season. We're still waiting off our pizzas off Gara. We promised us some pizzas, and that was 2 months ago. So hopefully next 2 weeks we'll get them.
Was that a Ranieri type bet? Was that?
To be fair, yeah. It's what was it? We scored so many goals.
It was after 12 games. We had to have scored 50 goals and conceded no more than 25.
Yeah, and which we done. So then we set ourselves some goals, and the next one, which I won't tell you, well, sort of told you, but it's something else in the pipeline. So yeah, we work goals and see how we get on. And
the omens are looking quite good, because the last time you lost them around 7 wins on the spin. So you must be quite confident now that you've had your what seems a common loss to around bogey team, whatever you want to call it, to go on a positive run of results and get some serious points on the board.
Yeah, hopefully, but I don't even know when the next league game will play is, because we've got Woods Cup tomorrow, then FA Cup the week after, then it's our free week, so could be another month yet before we play in the league.
And if we win tomorrow, it's the week after that's the Woods Cup again. That's so Tony was.
The FA Cup, yeah.
FA Cup, whatever it is. We played them around the first game, and we were last minute upsets let us down, and we started with 10 men, and it was a real bad day for the club and for the first team. And again, we all clubbed together, pulled our socks up and carried on again after that, and won, like you say, 6-7 games on the bounce, and we got beat last week, the week before. That was a tough old game.
Very scrappy, wasn't it?
Scrappy, couldn't get going, pitch was bad, weather was bad, no excuses, but we got beat by a lucky goal at the end where come off Jacob's foot. So, but yeah, let's hope we go on the next 7 games and see what happens.
So that's Malou versus Pulrose in the preliminary round of the GH Call-Up Woods Cup. Other fixtures tomorrow: Douglas and District against Jims. Michael travel to Governors Athletic. That's a 2:30 kick-off. Morown at home against Onken. And Ramsey Youth Centre travel to Union Mills. That's if the weather permits those games to go ahead. Tony, it's also worth throwing forward to Sunday's football action, because a big game for women's football.
Yeah, it is, and the neighbours, isn't it? Love thy neighbour. Douglas Royal against Corinthians. Went down and watched a bit of the first game. Douglas Royal beat Colby. Colby made it difficult, but Royal are a really good side, and even though they've struggled a little bit on numbers this year at times, they're still able to field some real quality. As well with Corinthians, a bit of a hiccup because it's one of the girls' birthdays and they're away. So some of them are flying back Sunday morning. So I don't know what sort of state they're going to be in. If you look at the league form, Corinthians have already beaten Royal and beaten them comfortably. It's floodlit. I've watched games before, and you expect Corinthians to win or you expect Royal to win, and it goes the opposite way. So Jason Corkle, the manager of Corinthians, will be looking to try and get his strongest team out and nullify the threats from Douglas Royal, and Brian Cowan will be doing exactly the same. So good game, and anyone who sort of wants to have a look at the standard of Manx football, then you've got 2 of the best that are going to play here. There's Island players littered in both teams, and let's just hope that it pans out to be what it at times it can be, an absolute tremendous game to watch, and there's maybe a sending off as well that's happened too, so you've got the lot.
Got it all. I won't put you on the spot and ask you what you think of Phil Neville's appointment for the England women's team. Just another text through: Ramsey Youth Centre's combination match is off. Waterlogged pitch. They were due to play Douglas and District, but according to this text, that match is now off. We were joined this evening by Stewie Morris and Owen Quayle. I hope you've enjoyed the experience. I hope and I trust you will take Tony's valuable insights into your next few games and get some good results. As I say, what do you feel heading into the match tomorrow? Do you have any concerns, any premonitions?
No.
It's just if it's going to be on or not is the big one, isn't it?
Yeah, we've already had rumours it's not going to be on, so.
But it's an early night just in case, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, to let you know, because they tried to move the game to Pulrose, and obviously Pulrose's pitch is under pressure. We were looking at the bowl, but that's taken. And I know I had a phone call from Lou before to say that the boys are going to go down and try and spike the pitch and everything and try and clear it. But I think the big problem is, Chris, a lot of clubs over the last 2 or 3 weeks have taken a chance and played on it, cut it up badly, and at the moment they just can't get anything on to try and sort it out. So I expect tomorrow, with the rain that's due in tonight, a few postponements to be on that sheet when we look at it tomorrow lunchtime.
But any developments we will bring you as we get them. You're previewing the day's football with James Davis, Saturday Sport, through Saturday Live. If the game between Peel and Corinthians is on, I'm sure you'll be at that one. And then the results obviously on Saturday Sport classified from 5 o'clock with James Davis tomorrow. Also on Sunday, a massive game for Ellen Vannin. They're away playing Yorkshire in their first ever international game. There's an exclusive interview with Dave Harrison, former Manx Radio intern, if you remember him, Tony. Mm-hmm. He will be speaking to Ed Oldham tomorrow. You can hear that on Saturday Sport with James Davis. But for now, that is it this evening, gents. Thanks very much for coming in and speaking to us, and I wish you all the best for the season. And whatever you're doing this weekend, have a good one.